Sometimes injustice wears a suit, and sometimes dignity wears work boots. In a corporate hallway lined with polished glass and cold ambition, one man was about to lose everything, until a single moment flipped the script forever. This isn't just a story about a janitor and his manager. This is about prejudice meeting its reckoning, about arrogance colliding with truth, and about how dignity, though silent, can roar when the right eyes finally see it. Stay with me, because what happens in this office will change the way you think about justice. The mop water was still rippling when silence fell across the executive hallway. Samuel stood rooted, his breath shallow, Victor's words echoing inside him like old scars reopening. Replaceable. You people. Nothing more. He had heard them all before. From supervisors on construction sites, from landlords counting him out before he even filled out an application, from strangers who clutched their purses tighter on sidewalks. But hearing them here, after 7 years of spotless service, 7 years of bending but never breaking, was like being stabbed with a blade already rusted from overuse. His knees trembled. He bent to pick up the mop, but his hands wouldn't stop shaking. The guard down the hall, Michael, a younger man with a kind face, took a step forward as if to say something, then hesitated. That was the cruelty of moments like these. The world often stood watching, silent, uncertain whether to act. Victor smirked, watching Samuel struggle like it was a show put on for his amusement. Pathetic, he muttered. Samuel flinched, but did not rise to it. His grandmother had told him once, in that same kitchen where she sang hymns, sometimes dignity is the only armor they can't strip from you. Wear it, Samuel. Wear it tight. He wanted to hold on to that now, but dignity felt heavy when your job was slipping away in front of your eyes. Victor took a step closer, lowering his voice into something sharp and intimate. Do yourself a favor and leave quietly. Don't make this uglier than it needs to be. Samuel swallowed hard, forcing calm into his tone. Ugly already happened, sir. You brought it with you. The guard's eyebrows shot up. For the first time, a flicker of pride burned through Samuel's fear. Victor's eyes narrowed. Careful. Samuel opened his mouth to answer, then froze at the sound of measured footsteps. He didn't turn at first. He didn't want to hope. He didn't want to believe deliverance could walk into a moment this dark. But when Evelyn Marshall appeared, all composure and steel, hope came anyway. She stopped in front of them, her presence enough to draw every pair of eyes in the corridor. She was not a tall woman, not in the way that towered over others, but she carried herself as if the ground itself tilted to meet her steps. Samuel had only seen her from a distance before, her portrait in the lobby, the rare occasions she crossed the building like a passing storm. He had never spoken to her, never thought he would. Now, she was looking at him directly. Explain, she had said, calm, even, but with weight that demanded truth. Victor had tried, spinning his half-story, his corporate jargon. But Samuel saw through it, and so did Evelyn. The silence after her rebuke was thick, but Victor still tried to claw his way out. Evelyn, with respect, you're making a mistake. This is beneath you. We're talking about a janitor. The word janitor slipped from his mouth like poison, meant to degrade, meant to shrink. But Evelyn didn't shrink. She stepped forward, her voice sharper now. No, Victor. We're talking about a man. A man with 7 years of spotless work in this building. A man you just tried to erase with a snap of your fingers. Victor laughed nervously, adjusting his tie. I only meant that he's not essential to the company's growth. Numbers matter, Evelyn. Optics matter. He doesn't move the needle. Samuel's chest tightened again, but this time he felt the fire building. His voice broke through the tension. Ma'am, if I may. Both heads turned toward him. Samuel drew a breath. His heart hammered, but he steadied himself. Every morning, when these halls are full and shiny shoes click against clean floors, nobody thinks about me. And that's fine. I don't do this for thanks. I do it because people deserve to walk into a place that looks cared for. Because if the smallest detail, like a streak on the glass or dirt in the corners, goes unnoticed, then the big things start to crumble, too. He paused, emotion choking him. You can't build towers on rot. Somebody has to care for the foundation. That's me. The guard shifted, clearly moved. Even the assistant's pen slowed. Evelyn studied him, her expression unreadable, but her eyes fierce. Victor scoffed, voice dripping with disdain. You hear this? He's romanticizing janitorial work like it's some grand calling. It's mops and buckets, Evelyn. Anyone can do it. Then why? Evelyn asked coolly. Hasn't anyone done it with more pride, more consistency, more humanity than Mr. Green for the last 7 years? Victor opened his mouth, closed it, then tried again. Because. But no words came. His excuses had run dry. The hallway seemed to lean towards Samuel now. He felt it, the shift. The way silence turned from judgment to witness. His voice came softer, trembling but strong. Sir, you said I'm replaceable. Maybe my job is, but my integrity isn't. And when I go home to my granddaughter, when I see her draw pictures and dream big dreams, I know the shine I put into these floors is the same shine I want in her future. I'm not replaceable in her eyes. That's enough for me. Evelyn's jaw tightened, her eyes glistening with something Samuel couldn't quite place. Respect? Admiration? Victor's face twisted, his voice louder now, almost desperate. This is absurd. You're letting him turn this into some sob story. He's a liability, Evelyn. He's dead weight. He doesn't belong in this building. Samuel looked at him then, for the first time with no fear, only clarity. No, sir. The only thing that doesn't belong in this building is arrogance. The guard coughed into his fist, trying to hide a smirk. And Evelyn. Evelyn let the silence stretch, heavy and deliberate, before delivering her verdict. Hand over your badge, Victor. The world stopped. Victor blinked rapidly, certain he'd misheard. What? You're finished here, Evelyn said. Her voice didn't rise, but it cut sharper than a shout. You've poisoned the culture I've worked to build. You've disrespected the very foundation of this company, and you've revealed yourself as unfit to lead. Victor sputtered, words tumbling out like broken glass. You can't do this. I've brought in millions. Millions mean nothing, Evelyn snapped, if they're built on belittlement and cruelty. Results without respect are worthless. Now your badge. Her hand extended. Steel. Unmoving. Victor's chest rose and fell with rage. He looked at Samuel, at the guard, at the assistant, as if searching for someone to back him. No one did. With a trembling hand, he yanked the badge from his belt and slapped it into her palm. This company will regret this. Evelyn didn't flinch. No, Victor. We'll heal because of this. The guard stepped forward. I'll see him out, ma'am. Victor's protests echoed down the corridor as the elevator doors closed on him. The silence that followed was heavy, but different now. Not oppressive, cleansing. Like the air after a storm. Evelyn turned to Samuel. Her tone softened, almost maternal. Mr. Green, thank you for reminding us what real value looks like. Samuel swallowed hard, tears welling. I was just trying to hold on, ma'am. You held on to dignity, she said. That's worth more than all the numbers Victor ever brought me. Her assistant scribbled notes quickly, eyes wide with newfound respect. The guard gave Samuel the faintest nod, as if to say you did it. You stood tall. For the first time in years, Samuel felt seen. But the story didn't end there. Because when Evelyn left, when the halls emptied again, Samuel found himself alone with his mop and bucket. And in that quiet, the weight of it all came crashing down. The near loss of his livelihood, the humiliation, the vindication. His hands trembled again, but this time it wasn't fear. It was release. He thought of Jade. He thought of how he would tell her this story one day, not to boast, but to teach her that no one could strip dignity from a person who refused to give it up. And maybe, just maybe, she would carry that lesson into her own battles. The night pressed on, but the building felt different now. Quieter, lighter. Samuel pushed his bucket down the hall, the faint squeak of wheels echoing against marble walls. Only this time, the sound didn't sting with shame. It rang with something else, something he hadn't felt in years. Pride. Not the loud, boastful kind. The quiet kind that sits deep in the chest, reminding you that even when the world tries to erase you, you can still write yourself back into the story. When Samuel reached the service elevator, Michael, the security guard, was waiting. He leaned casually against the wall, arms crossed, but his eyes carried a softness. "You good, Sam?" Samuel hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Better than I was 10 minutes ago." Michael chuckled. "Man, I've seen managers strut through here all my shifts. Never once saw one get marched out like that. You should have seen his face. Priceless." Samuel gave a small smile, shaking his head. "I didn't want it to come to that." "Maybe not," Michael said. "But sometimes justice don't ask for permission. Sometimes it just shows up." Samuel let the word settle. Justice. That was a heavy word, one he'd stopped expecting in his own life a long time ago. Michael clapped him on the shoulder before walking away. "Get home safe, brother. You earned it." The elevator doors slid shut, carrying Samuel down into the service corridors, the quiet underbelly of the building, where workers like him moved unseen. Tonight, though, he didn't feel unseen. He felt remembered. When he stepped out into the cool night air, the city hummed with its usual restlessness. Taxis honked. Neon signs flickered. Somewhere down the block, a busker's saxophone sang into the dark. Samuel breathed it all in. The gift bag sat on the passenger seat of his car, a modest package, wrapped with care. Inside, the drawing set Jade had been dreaming of. His hands lingered on it as he drove home, the weight of the evening heavy but cleansing. By the time he pulled up to his small brick house, the sky had begun to pale with early morning light. The porch light flickered on as the front door creaked open, and there she was, Jade, 9 years old, curls wild from sleep, eyes shining brighter than the dawn. "Grandpa," she squealed, running down the steps and leaping into his arms. He caught her, holding her close, the gift bag crinkling between them. For a moment, everything else faded, the marble floors, the insults, the firings. All that remained was her laughter against his neck. "I got you something," he whispered. Her eyes went wide as she tore open the bag, pulling out the drawing set like it was treasure. "Grandpa, it's the one I wanted. The exact one." Samuel chuckled, though his eyes watered. "You think I don't pay attention?" She hugged him again, tighter. "You're the best." He closed his eyes, whispering softly, "I just want you to know you can do anything. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise." Jade pulled back, frowning in confusion. "Did someone say you can't do something?" Samuel hesitated. Then he smiled, brushing a curl from her face. "Not anymore." Later that day, while Samuel slept, word spread through the company. By noon, whispers buzzed across departments. Victor Hale fired on the spot. Executives exchanged uneasy glances. Middle managers straightened their postures. Support staff shared secret smiles in break rooms. For years, Victor had been a shadow looming over the company culture. Sharp comments in meetings, dismissive laughs at lower employees, praise only for numbers and never for people. And for years, many had stayed silent, afraid to challenge him. But now the silence was broken. In HR, 2 employees whispered over coffee. "You hear about last night?" "Yeah, Hale's out." CEO herself did it. About time. Man thought he owned the place. In the janitorial break room, where Samuel's absence was noted, his co-workers beamed with pride. "Sam always been a quiet type," one said. "Quiet, yeah, but strong. Stronger than they gave him credit for." And in Evelyn Marshall's office, she looked out over the city, her assistant reading updates. "Employee morale spiking, ma'am. The whole building's talking about what happened." Evelyn nodded slowly. "Good. Let them talk. Let them remember. Respect isn't a suggestion here, it's the foundation. Without it, we collapse." That evening, when Samuel returned for his shift, something strange happened. As he wheeled his bucket through the lobby, employees actually looked up. They greeted him, some with nods, some with quiet thank yous, some with the kind of acknowledgement he wasn't used to. Michael grinned from his post. "Look at you, Sam. Celebrity status." Samuel chuckled softly. "Don't start." But even as he said it, warmth spread through him. He hadn't asked for recognition. He hadn't demanded applause. But being seen, it mattered more than he had realized. Weeks later, a company-wide meeting was held. Evelyn stood on stage, her voice carrying firm and clear. Respect, she told the room, is not a perk. It's a requirement. And let me be clear, this company is not built by executives alone. It is built by every hand that opens its doors, every worker who shows up with pride, every unseen effort that makes us who we are. She paused, scanning the crowd. Then, deliberately, she said, "If you doubt that, remember the night a janitor taught us all what true leadership looks like." The room erupted in applause. Samuel, tucked in the back with his work clothes, felt his face flush. He wanted to hide. But Jade, sitting beside him with her legs swinging and her drawing pad in her lap, leaned close and whispered, "That's you, Grandpa." His eyes misted. He couldn't deny it. For once in his life, the truth of it didn't feel too heavy to carry. Years later, when Jade grew older, she would remember that night. She would remember the story her grandfather told her about standing tall when others tried to shrink him. She would remember the gift he gave her, not the drawing set, but the lesson. Dignity is not for sale. Respect is not optional. And when arrogance tries to erase you, sometimes justice walks in right on time. True worth isn't measured by titles, suits, or salaries. It's measured by dignity, by respect, and by the quiet strength to stand when others try to make you small. No human being is replaceable in their humanity. The floor you walk on shines because someone cared enough to clean it. The foundation of every community, every company, every society rests on those often unseen. See them, honor them, protect them, because the ones the world tries hardest to overlook are often the very ones holding it together. When arrogance thought it had won, dignity proved stronger. Samuel walked out with more than a job. He walked out with respect, recognition, and proof that truth cannot be erased. The lesson is clear. Never measure a person by their position, but by their humanity. And when you witness injustice, don't stand silent. Stand up. Because silence protects the oppressor, but courage protects the oppressed. Subscribe to Unheard Evidence. Like and share for more powerful justice-driven stories that reveal dignity, truth, and strength in the face of prejudice.